Hey everybody, welcome to Proverbs 31 Women. Tonight's episode, I interviewed Sandy Turley. She is the owner of the Mill Rooms at Broad Street Mill in Griffin, Georgia. And y'all, this was such a phenomenal interview. I am so thankful that I had the opportunity to meet with Sandy, to hear her story, and to get to share it with you all. If you have ever in your life thought, I can't do something that God has laid on your heart to do, or that you had a heart's desire to do, and you just think that you're not able or you're not capable, I cannot wait for you to hear Sandy's story. I hope that you're blessed by it tonight, and I'll be back on as soon as the interview's over. Hey everybody, this is Renee with 31 Women, and I'm here with Sandy Turley. She's the owner of the Mill Rooms in the Broad Street Mill. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I met Sandy through a mutual friend. I do have to give you guys a shout out because the Jesus Shed has been the most watched episode so far. And you guys know that we've not been here very long, but what God is doing is absolutely phenomenal. And so I met Miss Sandy through Diana with the Jesus Shed, and I'm just going to ask you just a few questions.
Okay.
And so how did you get started with the Mill Rooms?
Well, I became a business owner overnight.
Okay, literally overnight.
Literally overnight.
That's not scary.
I have to give a little bit of a backstory.
Okay.
In 2020, I was married to the most amazing man.
Okay.
Who was an optician. His dream was to own his own optical practice.
Okay.
So at the time I was working at University of Georgia, I quit my job to help him run his business.
Okay.
And we were just a few months away. He was getting ready to retire, and we were going to do it full time. Prior to that point, we had only been doing it for 2 days a week.
Okay.
He was a few months away from retirement, and God had a different plan, and he took him home through a heart attack. So literally, because I wasn't licensed to make eyeglasses, the moment he died, unfortunately, the business went with him.
Wow.
And so we had spent 2.5 years renovating the spaces that we rent here at the Broad Street Mill.
Right.
And because we had spent so much time and money, I just couldn't walk from it.
Right.
I just couldn't. The
Right.
Lord did not give me liberty to walk from it.
Right.
And so I went into a little bit of a dark hole for a little while, because
I imagine
I've got
so.
all of this space and all of this, our money, a lot of our money had been invested in the
Right.
renovations. And so after about a year, the Lord said, get up, get out of your little pity party, and
love those moments. Love them when he does that.
Absolutely. And so he impressed on my heart to take the space that Randy, my husband's name was Randy, and I had created together, and to give it back to the community.
Wow.
And so his goal in life was that this place be a light on the hill. Everything that he did with his eyeglasses was, he sold everything for 50% off retail value.
Right.
And that was his way of ministering and meeting people to share the love of Christ through his ministry of eyeglasses. And so I can't make eyeglasses, but the Lord impressed upon my heart to use what I have been gifted at.
Okay.
Maybe the gift of hospitality, giving, serving others.
Okay.
To use the space that he and I
Right.
had created together, and to give back.
Okay. So when you say that you're the owner of the Mill Rooms, tell me a little bit about what you do with the Mill Rooms.
Okay, so what we do now is all of the rooms, the offices, patient rooms, and the display room where he had all of his eyeglasses. Like I say, we've spent a lot of time renovating that. What I have done since then is removed all the eyeglasses. I tried that for about 1.5 years. It just didn't work, and the Lord said just move to something different.
Okay.
So the rooms that we have now, I have a conference room.
Okay.
That's we have Bible studies in there. We have trainings. We have this church that has met in there on occasion. And I have several day spaces. The room that we're in now is just an office that someone can come and meet with their clients.
Okay.
Or set up their computer and their laptop for a day and just rent the space temporarily. We don't do anything long term right now.
Right.
And then we have a much larger room, which is called the boiler room. It's the old boiler room it houses the boiler that used to heat this entire mill.
Yeah.
So we've turned it into a small complex.
Now, I know that the day use rental of spaces like this office that we're in right now is very popular and is very trending in Atlanta and around Atlanta, because people are moving and shifting the way that they work.
Right.
So I know one of my daughters, I work hybrid, she works remote, but she finds that it is easier for her to get more accomplished when she is in a space
Yes.
like this. So do you have a full roster? Do you still have availability?
We do have availabilities right now. We
Okay.
have just opened actually another room about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We've not even tried to promote that or anything, and I don't do a lot of promoting of myself. Right now, I'm just letting the Lord do that.
Okay.
And word of mouth, and it's working, and it seems that He's plugging the exact right people in as needed. It's not only been a blessing for me,
Mhm.
but it's a blessing for them. It's just a perfect fit when He does it.
I know that the Lord is moving and working throughout all of this, because I've been around here just enough to see how God is placing people together and making things happen in His time and in His season. So I love the light in this office space right here. This is fantastic. I could work in here. I can't handle dark spaces.
Right, me.
So I love that there's so much light here, and there's movement, and there's greenery. It's a perfect place for someone that's coming, for someone that's maybe starting a new practice of some kind, or that has clientele that they need to meet one-on-one. This would be fantastic. A lawyer that's just getting started, this would be perfect.
Yes, we actually have had several remote closings where we have an attorney in Atlanta and a real estate agent in Macon, and they just needed a place to do the closing.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And so it works very well for that.
Yeah.
The hourly rates are just beyond incredible.
That's
So I don't want to plug it, but it's true.
But that's wonderful.
So, yeah.
And I love that you're giving back to the community. I know that you have the Jesus Shed in your in your partnership here, and you said you guys have Bible studies. Are those open to the public, or are they just the people who come here that are part of the Mill Rooms?
We have one particular a Bible study that comes once a week, and then there's several of the other business owners in the mill who have a prayer meeting every Wednesday in our conference room.
That's wonderful.
So it is not isolated or exclusive to just us. So anyone who wants to come, absolutely, we're all about it.
I'm going to ask you some questions about you now.
Okay.
Okay. You said that you worked for UGA.
Correct.
And then you left your job at UGA to help your husband, and the Lord had other plans. What did you do at UGA?
I was an associate accountant in the business office.
Okay.
And so
I work in procurement for the state of Georgia.
Oh,
I know
okay.
you didn't know that.
I did not know that. That's cool.
But that's really interesting. So that you did that. And so now you're able to just spend your time giving back to the community in different ways.
Correct.
But this is not something you would have ever planned for yourself.
No. I have been a follower by nature. I've never had a desire to be a business owner. I'm an introvert to the extreme, but God had a different plan for me. And the option was to run and fight or flight, and to fly and hide in that moment after he passed away. But
I think we all have moments where we hide.
So
we do. We have moments where we hide. We have moments where he hides us sometimes while we're in a healing process. So, but I won't preach on that or anything. It happens. So tell me a little bit about. Did you grow up here in the state of Georgia? Are you from Georgia?
I am. I actually grew up in the Ellenwood area.
Okay.
And then I moved from there to Jackson to Griffin. So I've been here my whole life.
Okay, that's really interesting. You know a lot of people then,
I do,
probably.
yeah.
And I find, because I'm outgoing, but I find that it's actually easier for people that are more introvert. It's almost like you draw people in.
Yeah.
Whereas my personality kind of goes out to get. If you're more introverted, it draws people in, and I love that. I wish I could be that way. I wish I could. It's not how God made me, but I love that. So I know that you have a lot of connections. Did your family grow up? Were you affluent financially growing up, or is this just something that God has just continued to grow and bless you in? As far as the way that you guys were able to afford to do this, I want to encourage women that are starting right now, that are at a point where God's spoken to them and they have something that God has laid on their heart, and they're like, how am I going to do this? How am I? And on my TikTok Live Friday night, I talked about use what you got. You got to start where you are, and you got to use what you got. So I know that's a bit of a personal question to ask somebody, but I want women to know it doesn't matter where you come from. You can do what God's told you to do with what he's given you where you're at.
Right. As long as you listen to him and let him tell you what to do. I've made that mistake of stepping out and doing my thing, and then I've crashed and burned a few times along the way.
Have we not all? Have we not all?
Yes, but to answer your question, I was a single mom for many years.
Okay.
And during that time, as a matter of fact, that I was working at UG at that time, I always tried to supplement my income, doing other things. So no, it's always been a step of faith for me. Day by day, it's been a step of faith for me. And as a matter of fact, when Randy and I got married, I stepped into a different situation because the two of us were actually working together as a team towards a common goal. I've never had that before.
Right.
And we were
That's a learning curve.
Yes.
That would be a Bible study in and of itself.
Absolutely.
Because that's a learning curve to learn how to do that.
Absolutely. And so, and as a matter of fact, it took me, when he and I talked about me quitting my job to begin to work here behind the scenes to prepare for him to come. It took me a minute because I had a really good job, and it took me to get to that point, because that was my security. Even though God had given me this incredible man, there was that one side, that little thread in me that said, do you want to do this? And so I said, yes, I do. So I stepped out on faith, and so when the Lord, had a different plan and he took him from me, that put me literally back down at the starting line.
Yeah.
Because now I didn't have a job, I didn't have insurance, I didn't have any of the things, and I didn't have a husband. It was just me and a business with a lot of space.
So you were down all the way at the bottom. And
Yes.
can you testify to say that we think that being all the way down at the bottom, where there's I'm talking on rock bottom, and you're all the way down at rock bottom, we think that that's a horrible place to be. But I have found through some hardships in life, it's not a horrible place to be. It is a wonderful place for God to teach and grow our faith. And so he uses the most awful of circumstances to move us, to grow us, to make us more in the image of Christ, to grow our faith, where we can say, yes, Lord, here am I, send me, where we might not have done that before. And I definitely could understand the hardship of letting go of your financial security, because for those of us that has been who we are in our lives, we are the financial security.
Right.
To transition in that is a very difficult task. So I know that God really gave you the strength to do that. You wouldn't think that it takes strength, but it does. It takes a lot of faith, and it takes a lot of strength. And so tell me, you never thought you'd be here. You never thought you'd be doing these things.
No.
But God has built a community around you that supports you and that gives back as you give out. Have you found that to be true?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As I said, I didn't know what to do with the space, and the Lord just said, give it to me. We know that. We've been told that. We probably even told others to let God have it.
Yeah.
Saying it and doing it's a different thing.
It is. It definitely is.
I gave it, everything, to the Lord, and said, okay, it is yours, and I have to take my hands off 100 times a day. It's not a one and done thing.
Right.
I have to keep my hands off of it.
It's an active practice.
Right.
We don't realize that.
Yeah.
We think that we can do something one time, and it's an active practice.
It really is.
And exercise, because it stretches you.
Yes.
It does.
And it strengthens you.
It does. It does. Every time you say yes, it does both of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
So since January of last year, 2024, God has allowed the Themillrooms to be the birthplace of 8 brand new ministries.
Oh, that's
that were
wonderful.
ministries that were looking for a place to meet, but they didn't have the funds to rent some of these larger places. And because the Lord has graciously not given me a whole lot of overhead here, the rates are different than what they would be at other places, and so He's allowed the Themillrooms to be the birthplace of 8 brand new ministries since then. And small business owners, I had one small business owner who started here and she outgrew the space, and now she's moved down the hall.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And so that is what I want to do, is the Lord has allowed me to be in position to maybe be the stepping stone for like-minded entrepreneurs, ministries, or whatever, to start here and then spread their wings and find somewhere else.
I think that's
place of their
wonderful.
own.
So God took what the world would think is just such a tragedy, and it is such a tragedy, and He turned it around and He made something so beautiful that now I'm about to cry. Now every day that you wake up, you get to walk in. It's more blessed to give than to receive.
Correct.
You get to walk that life with a community surrounding you full of people that not only have a need, but that meet a need. Because the ministries that have been birthed here are meeting a need in this community. Do you want to talk about any of those? You don't have to give me the names of them, but just maybe what they do. Are they church services? Are they food banks? Are they clothing ministries? Are they women's ministries? What do some of them do?
Well, one of them is we have a church that meets here every Sunday morning.
Okay.
And they have a training school, some sort of a training school as well. And to be able to watch them, they were meeting in the pastor's house, and they outgrew the pastor's house, and so they needed a space, and God just divinely networked another, us together. I didn't seek them, God just brought them to me. And there's a widow ministry that was started here. They were looking for a place, and then they have since moved on.
People don't think about that a whole lot. They
No.
really don't. It's like a forgotten, and you would personally be very receptive to that, and God knew that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when that lady came to me, we passed in the hallway. She was looking for somewhere else, and I said, "Can I help you?" And she said, "I'm looking for," and she explained to me what she was looking for. I was obviously relatively new widow myself, and she was looking to start a widow ministry, and she was looking for a place in which to do it. So,
Isn't God just amazing how He does that? That is so fantastic. I'm trying really hard not to cry. I really am. And keep my composure. That is just beautiful to me. So you have a widow's ministry, you have a church that has some type of training program, and there are several others that meet here.
There's another one. There's an elderly lady that I go to church with that wanted to have a place where she could have books. Faith-based books for anyone that might need it. And so she went out, she bought, in addition to losing her husband, completely separate of the widow ministry, a different thing, she began to clean out his library. He was a pastor. And then she went out and bought a bunch of other books, and she said, if anyone comes through your ministry or through your business that needs help on finances or adoption or parenting, anything, she said, there's a book.
Right.
So now she's not here to do that necessarily, but that is resources that I have access to, that we give books out all the time.
That's fantastic.
For somebody who might be in need of
books are expensive. They are. I try to buy all things that I can sustainable. That's a really fancy way of saying I like to go to thrift stores, y'all. That's really what that means. I like to go to thrift stores, but I do try to buy sustainable, and books are very expensive, especially the ones that actually teach you how to go through processes or steps of things. And there are, I know locally, there are inmate facilities where they're always in need of things like that, because they just, veterans, hospitals and associations are always in need of, because the government doesn't supply those things.
Right.
That's a fantastic thing that she's doing, and that you provide a platform and a space for. That is wonderful. So what are your plans for the future coming up? Tell me what you got going on coming up.
Right now we are just waiting. I don't even know how to answer that question. Like I said, when I say we are day by day right now, we are literally day by day, just waiting for the Lord to plug. I know I mentioned to you off camera a few minutes ago that we don't do a lot of advertising. I felt the Lord told me, just stop advertising. It was wearing me down. I had some issues with my Facebook page, my business Facebook page. And he said, just stop. And so as soon as I stopped, business just picked up tremendously.
Isn't that just like God? And there's so much out there about marketing and advertising now. It's overwhelming.
Yes.
You could spend.
I think that's
It's so overwhelming.
The algorithms, and you have to know all the things, and then they change a week later. It's just too much. And so the Lord again reminded me, lay it at my feet, keep your eyes on me, and I'm going to make it happen. And He has. It's just incredible.
Okay. And so are you going to continue to plan to do this for the duration, or are you just letting God lead you step by step?
My heart's desire, which, the Lord could change that, but the Bible says in Psalms 37:4, delight thyself also in the Lord, and He shall give thee the desires of thine heart.
Yes.
My heart's desire, which I feel like ties so closely into my talents and gifts, are to stay where I'm at. To continue renting the space, to continue seeing business owners, Christians, ministries, have a small stepping stone, a starting point.
And be
Yeah.
in that place where that facilitator really is what you are.
Facilitator, yeah.
You facilitate the opportunity to make other people's dreams happen.
Right.
Probably hadn't had it worded that way, but that's really
Yeah.
what she's doing. She facilitates the opportunity and the space to make other people's dreams of ministry or business happen. It's a birthing place. This is a birthing ground.
Yeah.
And I know that just came from God because I'm not that smart. But this is a birthing. Literally, you are down here, downstairs in the birthing room.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
That's an interesting viewpoint.
You do, but you do. You provide the space for the birthing rooms. And that's why God blesses it so much and continues to bring people to you, because we all have something inside of us that we need to give birth to. And I'm not going to preach again. That's the second time you've tried to pull that out of me and didn't even know it. But I appreciate your time today. Do you have anything that you would like to let everyone know, how to get in touch with you, the location of your facilities, how many rooms you have available, any approximate sizes, any information that you would like to give to our viewers?
Yes, so we're located on the lower level of the Broad Street Mill building, which is directly across from the sock shop at 324 East Broad Street in Griffin. We are open Monday through Saturday. Our rooms are available just about at any time by appointment. You know, if you needed it an off time, we can make it happen whether we're here or not. But we currently have the conference room, which is perfect for, there's a huge round table in there, probably 8 or 10 people can sit in there and have a conference, have prayer sessions or whatever.
Okay.
We have 2 additional spaces, the one that we're in and the one next door that we rent by the hour. And the rates, you know, I don't know if I can throw them out there.
You
throw them out there?
You
The
can.
rates-
Look, this is me and you. We can do
Okay,
what
we
we
can
want.
do what we want to. So this particular room, we rent it for $10 an hour, and that's it. And then we also have package deals. So if you want to come and, you know, if you want to buy 20 hours a month and do them the way, you know, if you want to use them all in 1 or 2 weeks, all in 1 week, or if you want to buy, I have one lady that she buys 95 hours at a time,
Okay.
and she's substantially way cheaper, you know, to do it that way.
Right.
And then again, we do have the boiler room. The boiler room, we have a prophetic training group that meets out there about once a quarter, and the boiler room houses maybe 50 people. And tables and chairs are included in that as well.
Okay. So wait. So you can put 50 people in there with the tables and chairs. So you could potentially have like a small reception or something like that down there, or mid-size. To me, 50 people is mid-size, but a small one's 25. But 12 to 25. But I know that there are people out here that, you know, 50 would be small.
Yeah.
So but they have the opportunity. They could host receptions or things of that nature. There's baby showers, things of that nature.
Baby showers. We have vendor markets a lot.
Okay.
We actually are getting ready around Christmas time. We're going to have a young entrepreneur vendor market. The entire meal is.
Okay.
And we're going to invite in all the young entrepreneurs. The last time we had one that was 3
fun.
years old. We had a 3-year-old.
A 3-year-old entrepreneur.
Yes, she came with her.
I don't feel behind at all.
She came in with her older sister, and they set up a table.
That's cute.
And so yeah, it's a community atmosphere, especially in the boiler room. You know, we want to make it where you know, there's tables, there's chairs. Come in, come and go, whether we're here or not. Just come and hang out, pray, do whatever you need to do.
Right.
But for events, baby showers, we've actually had a small wedding in there.
Yes,
So-
I was thinking that. I just didn't know if it was allowed, so I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Sandy, for your time today. And I'm gonna, when I come back on and do my closeout, I'll give you guys another plug for the meal rooms here at the Broad Street Mill. And if you have an email address or something like that, if you want to give that before we close out.
Okay. Yeah. The email address is Themillrooms112@gmail.com.
Do you want them to have your phone number?
The phone number, the phone number is good. 678-572.
I don't know.
I just forgot.
It's okay, we're
678-572.
organic, it's okay.
I'm gonna have to check on that.
It's okay. I'll have it when I come back on, so you
Yes.
guys can just call, or you can email Themillrooms122 at 112 at
gmail.com.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I feel a little bit like Sesame
Yes.
Street trying to get my numbers
Sorry.
right. That's okay. It's me. I didn't. It's all right. Well, thank you guys for coming on to 31 Women. I hope that Sandy has encouraged y'all. I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this to be offensive, but if this young lady can do this after going through the loss of her husband and taking what she had and moving from what she had that felt like less than nothing because there was all of this stuff that she didn't know what to do with, completely changing her career, taking a step of faith, and then finding that that step of faith did not go the way that she thought it was going to go, but she persevered and she obeyed God and she made herself available, and she still said, "Here am I, Lord, send me." And the Lord has done that, and so now she literally is a birthing room for other ministries and other businesses. I just want to encourage you as a 31 woman, a Proverbs 31 woman, you can do what God has laid on your heart to do. So until next time, I'm going to come back in just a minute and do our closeout, but we'll see you on 31 Women. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All I can say is wow. Just wow. It is amazing to me the way that God connects his children together, and in this day and in this hour, the way that he is doing what he is doing, where all of us that may think that we have no voice, or that may think that we are not a city that is set up on a hill and that we are hidden, the way that God is using all of us in this day and in this hour. I'm so excited about what I learned tonight from Sandy. I love that she has allowed God to take tragedy and make it a triumph in her life. I love that she's continuing to be open to what God has for her, and that she's continuing to want to share that with everyone else. If you would like to be on 31 Women, reach out to me, send me a comment, send me a message, let me know that you have something that you would like to share, because whether you realize it or not, if you're in the faith, you're already a Proverbs 31 woman. You just don't know it yet, but I'm going to prove it to you. Have a great night.